where are you?
Tokyo,
What time is it there?
10 a.m.
How do you feel?
I feel okay.
Thanks for talking to me. This is for Stereophile, which is primarily we do a lot of music features, but we really cover hi-fi gear. We review
hmm
speakers and turntables and all that kind of stuff. So I'll be asking you a little bit about that. I loved your second album. I named it one of my records to die for long before you won the Grammy. You're such a breath of fresh air for people like myself who love jazz and sort of wonder where the history is going. How does this new record, not new anymore, but differ from your Whirlwind record before it?
Well, I think the second record definitely showcased a little bit more of my development. The first record I recorded while I was still in college. I was an
Wow.
undergraduate in 2020, um, October of 2020, and this the second album we recorded in March of 2022. And so by that point, I had had like about a year or so's worth of gigging and touring and traveling and singing and kind of getting more comfortable with my voice, a lot more growth, a lot more additions to my repertoire, and trying to find songs that I could make my own. And so I think that the second record it showcases just a small step in musical development. I think on all sides, whether it be my voice or repertoire and interpretation.
Did you have, after doing a first record, did you have a more definitive idea of what you wanted to do on the record as far as the
Kind
songs you
of.
covered?
Kind of. I mean, I was, yeah, I had, so promoting the first record, I pretty much did, like the set that I did was pretty much from the Whirlwind recording. And so when it came time to do the second recording, I had already sort of been moving away from that and trying to integrate more I don't even want to say more contemporary songs, but like jazz compositions and songs that I had written lyrics to and standards that might not have been as well known. And so yeah.
You have your own songs that you've written?
Not yet. Well, actually I have a couple, but not that I've recorded yet.
You
Just
need to record
think
those.
once I because I feel different about recording my, as I'm sure many people do, but recording my own songs when I sing a lot of beautiful songs and melodies and things like that. And I'm like, I want to make sure mine lives up to that kind of standard that I've set for myself as far as choosing good repertoire. So yeah, but I just meant for Linger a While, two out of the two songs, which are already written before I wrote lyrics to them, have my lyrics on it.
Oh, which two songs are those?
Nostalgia and I'm Confessing.
Wow. Um,
Yeah.
and who wrote the arrangements for the record?
I collaborated with the musicians to do it. So like if I had an idea, I would share it with the, whether it be Pasquale or the piano player Ben. Um, The only thing that I didn't arrange was the horn chart, which was on Round Midnight. But I pretty much like we co-arranged everything.
I loved the that arrangement of Lush Life. I thought that was really fresh, the opening. And then there's
hmm
sort of an Afro-Cuban section in there as well. Am I right?
Oh yeah, that's inspired by definitely by Slide Hampton and by Dizzy on Round Midnight.
Oh wow, yeah, that was really fresh because people usually do that sort of rote. And why did you choose Matt Pearson to work with as producer?
I thought it would be nice to keep a consistent sound. I think that a lot of people when they were introduced to my music on the first record, they were kind of introduced to the sound that we had, that he had kind of how should I say, he presented, as far as producing goes. So I figured, we would keep in the same vein for the second record and keep the same sound.
Matt and I go way back. We used to work at Tower Records together back in
hmm
the early 90s. He was the Jazz Byron cassettes, and I was the Jazz Byron vinyl. A million
hmm
years ago, and we both had dark hair. Um, why cover these particular songs? I mean, you sing so beautifully, but these are really sort of, I mean, you made them fresh. Someone might watch over me, Misty. I never thought I ever wanted to hear Misty again in my life, but you really made them fresh, and you bring something unique and sort of noodly rich to them. But why such old and familiar standards?
I think at the time, that was kind of what I was listening to, and listening to through artists, both instrumentalists and musicians and singers. Like, you know, I was kind of getting into Carmen McRae's, repertoire and what she listened to and what she'd recorded, um, as well as Sarah Vaughan. And I think that because their repertoire is mainly standards, that they don't have any. Well, Carmen McRae has a couple of original songs, but mainly I was listening to their interpretations of standards, and so that was what I wanted to present because that was what I was listening to, um, and I was listening to them interpret those old songs, which weren't, I guess, as old as at the time when they
Yeah,
recorded
right.
them, but recording them and making them new, and so that's what I, believed that I wanted to do at the time was record and make it new with my voice and my interpretation. Now I'm listening to a lot more singers, like Betty Carter and like Abby Lincoln, and they wrote original music and they had their own sound. And so I feel like that's also affecting, my musicianship right now and what I want to do as far as writing compositions and stuff like that. But I think each album kind of depicts what I was listening to at the time and what I was inspired by and what I wanted to present based on my inspiration.
Yeah, Abby Lincoln can be really what's that album of hers? I forgot the name of it, but a lot of it is like sort of it's not atonal, but a lot of it is really kind of
Oh yeah.
bent. I forgot the name of the record. It kind of shocked me.
Probably
Um,
probably straight ahead. Was
yeah,
straight
and
ahead.
I I love Carmen McRae, and she made so many records and such a broad array of things. And I definitely hear Sarah Vaughan, and I definitely hear Betty Carter in what you do when you sing more extroverted. I hear Betty Carter, that kind
Right.
of big, bold thing. What is it about her that you like? Because all of these singers, they're not forgotten among people like us, but in popular parlance, they are. What is it you like about Betty Carter or Carmen McRae? I'm curious.
And it's so funny because like a lot of people are like, why are you, I mean, not now, but I guess they're like, why are you singing jazz when you could be doing so many other things? And I'm like, well, if you listen to the singers of this music, who established the sound, each of them were singing jazz, but they had their own style that they contributed to the music. And so I think of it not as like a box, but like it's like an open door. And so with Betty Carter, I really I love the liberties that she took when it came to singing the melody and kind of redefining what it means to interpret and storytell. Um, because I guess when you listen to Ella or Carmen or Sarah, well, Ella or Carmen, they deviate from the melody, but you can pretty much, um, hear the composer's you can hear the composer's foundation that's being laid, with uh I don't know how to say it, but with Betty
Uh,
Carter, I loved the individuality, and I love the fact that I mean, she was one of the main ones where I felt like, wow, she could have written this song, or she could the way that she, took songs and like rearranged them, and like had such control and power when it came to like her band and when it came to like leading, so yeah, that's what I admire about her.
yeah, I'd heard for years, not the least from Kenny Washington, because I was a drummer for many years, so I interviewed lots of the jazz drummers, that she would like start out gigs like the fastest tempo of the night. And they were
Right.
all like they could barely keep up. I'm sure you've heard all those sort of things from Kenny.
A couple of stories, yeah. I was on the cruise, the jazz cruise with Greg Hutchinson and Kenny and Louis Nash, and so they each had respective stories to tell about working with Betty Carter.
Wow, they must love you. You're from a family of singers, but more like gospel and R&B singers.
Yes, yes. My grandparents had a choir called the Savettes of Philadelphia. And you can hear them, on record. They have records from the '60s and '70s of, them, Elder Goldwire and Ruth McClendon. Those are their names, but I mean, my dad, that's my dad's dad. And so my dad grew up around gospel. He sang in church. He played bass in church. His aunts, his siblings, my aunts and uncles all sing. Um, and yeah, so and their kids all, are all,
Wow. The whole
singers.
family. Are there other jazz singers in the family?
No, I did find out that we might be related to Arthur Prysock, but um,
Wow.
but besides that, not any right now. Which is probably even more of a surprise to them that I'm doing this. But
But did any of them ask you, why are you doing jazz? Actually, why aren't you doing, I mean, you're 23 now,
mm,
and I understand you're huge on TikTok as well, I've heard.
yeah,
Even though I,
learning.
I have TikTok, I looked for it, but I don't know how to make that thing work. I'll ask you about
Mm.
that in a minute. But why not sing? You've got an incredible range, great poise, you're beautiful. Why don't you sing contemporary music?
I think I don't know. I think there's a lane for everybody. I love contemporary music. I listened to it growing up. I feel like I have, or at least it's affected my voice, in the way that I sing jazz now. But I don't know. I think with jazz, I feel a lot freer. I feel a lot like I don't have to fit into an R&B aesthetic or like a gospel aesthetic or like a, anything like that. All of it's great, but all of the music is great. But I feel like I can still be influenced by the music without necessarily going to like just down this one, expected mainstream path.
So it sounds like you were just naturally meant to do it or drawn to do it. I mean, you sing so incredibly.
Thank you. And I mean, I didn't listen to jazz growing up really much at all. So, um, I'm I think I'm more grateful for the fact that I didn't, because when I got to college, I could just kind of hit the ground running. It was like I need to learn, know and learn and understand what this music sounds like, because I have no preconceived, notions about it.
Did you I mean, you just glide over the arrangements and such an incredible rhythm section. I think it's David Wong on bass. Um,
Mhm.
was there ever any, did you have to learn how to swing? I mean, I was a drummer and I grew up I quit because I came here. I'm like Bill Stewart, Kenny Washington. What's the point? I didn't really swing with that level of intensity. Was that something you ever had to concern yourself with, just that feeling, or
Yeah.
did you just have it?
Yeah, I definitely needed to learn how to. And I mean, it was hard because I would go to jam sessions and or be in school and be in repertoire class or combo, um, and just kind of try to sing based off of what little knowledge I had of what jazz sounded like at the time. But I've definitely, I guess, followed in the tradition of those who created the music in the first place. I just listened, and tried to
Hmm.
absorb it and absorb the feel as much as possible, trying things, experimenting with the way that I sang and playing with different people, um, and just kind of developing it. But it's not something that, I don't know. It's not something that is you're born with. I don't think it's
I
definitely
don't think so either. I
it
know
has to
when I
be.
hear it, but I could never do it that well. What do you play piano as well or other instruments?
Yeah, I play piano for, transcription purposes and like, when I want to learn a song and like learn the melody and how it relates to the changes and stuff, I do that, but um not professionally. Um and I played electric bass for a minute because of my
Oh
dad,
wow. Hmm.
but I don't
And,
know
and
how
where
to
did
learn.
you study at
I went to SUNY Purchase.
when you purchased? Um, and did your parents say you got to have something to fall back on? And did you study something else as well, like accounting or something?
My parents, they were very supportive. They didn't have my mom is much more of the businesswoman in the house than anybody else, and so she was like, you know, especially while I was in school, she was like, get a job and make sure you have some money in your pocket, make sure you're saving up, that kind of thing. But as far as backup plan for my life, they were always very supportive of pursuing music.
I think you made the right choice. When you hit the ground running and decided to get into this, which you might have mentioned already, but which singers of the old school had the biggest impact on you?
I think Sarah Vaughan and Ella, honestly, there's like what a place to start. But when I started, I was listening to Ella for like how to sing the melody, and then I was listening to Sarah for how to switch it up and make it different and make it unique. Um, and Yeah, I found that they were very crucial to my understanding the sound, and not just so that I could copy or like imitate them, but just understanding, because I think it's that way with any genre. You want to sing country, you want to sing R&B, you want to sing soul, you have to listen to those who established the sound, who changed it, who made it so that you can sing it now. Because I'm not the you know first person to even though people like they're like Gen Z jazz star. I'm not the first and I definitely won't be the last. So I think Ella, I'm sorry, I'm rambling, but Ella and Sarah were the first for me.
What about what does Billie Holiday mean to you?
Hmm. Well, her feel was incredible as well. And she talks about listening to Louis Armstrong and Bessie Smith. And I think for me, I really take away singing, learning how to sing the blues, and not just in the form necessarily, but learning how to put that into every song and put that feeling into every song, and not needing to showcase any sort of vocal acrobatics or anything like that in order to make something feel good and in order to connect with people and in order to communicate the story of a song. So I think the way that she sings, the way that she puts like just raw emotion into everything that she sings, on top of having like one of the best feels when it comes in phrasing when it comes to singing standards. It's beautiful.
Yeah, she's it's darker. Um, and I work at a New York's only and totally jazz record store on Saturdays, and all her later verse stuff is readily available and really popular. But I always try to get people to go back and listen to the Columbia stuff, the stuff on Decca when she's kind of young. Who does your favorite version of Guess Who I Saw Today? Your version's great. I'm just curious who inspired you.
My favorite version. Well, the first time I heard it was on a Carmen McRae record called Afterglow. Um,
That's a really
and
early one.
Yeah, yeah. And I was that's the first one that I was really associated with. I didn't listen to Nancy Wilson's until, and I honestly didn't sing the song until it was time to record it. So, um, but
Really?
Carmen McRae, that was my first introduction to the song, but I had never done it, live or anything before I recorded it.
Is Nancy Wilson's version the accepted standard version of it or something?
Yes. Anytime people, I mean, if I say Nancy Wilson on a gig, they're like, we know exactly what song you're gonna do. So,
Really? I
yeah,
didn't know that. I didn't know that. She's really
yeah.
great, and wow. But your version is great. And the fact that you're 23, you couldn't have had your heart broken too many times to
No,
sing that like you do. But it's a great version of that song.
thank you.
It's really well done. Um, to me, you sort of mastered the jazz canon at 23. But tell me, you're also a TikTok star with 20 million views. Is that right?
Yeah,
Tell me about that.
yeah.
And that's something that no jazz singer or even the younger jazz singers who think they're cool have done. What's in your TikTok videos? Are you singing?
Oh gosh, yeah, yeah. That's pretty much all I do when I'm when I'm posting on TikTok. I definitely have a an interesting relationship with social media because it's like you have to, with social media, it seems like you have to post, you have to stay relevant, you have to, connect with your audience, which I mean, I completely understand and I'm grateful for the platform. I was speaking with Miss Diane Reeves, and she was talking about it too. She was like, it's so amazing that you can directly connect with your audience with, you can go on tour, you can do all of that, which is also amazing, but you have, something that I didn't have when I was, coming up. And I mean, she's incredible, but I didn't really think of it like that. So yeah, yeah, whenever I post, I'm like, I don't, if I'm going to present myself in this space, in this virtual space where there's so many consumers and there's so much content and there's so much, being it's so much that's readily available to people. I want to present who I am and what I do without, having to add any sort of frills or anything like that to
Oh,
compete.
really? You don't, so you just want a direct connection.
Yeah, yeah, just sing, and whoever likes it, whoever doesn't, it's fine. And I
I
think
think
that's
it's
the,
amazing. I mean, I think of TikTok, that's a globally a pretty young audience, isn't it?
yeah.
So you've really, this proves there is an audience for a young jazz singer.
I think so, and I was pleasantly surprised, um, posting on there and having people listen to my music enough to want to come to gigs, to want to share it with others, to want to buy vinyl again, I mean, I don't know if I'm the cause of that, but if I sell it and I'm at the shows, people are like, "Where's your vinyl?" I want, and I'm like, yeah, it's nice, and it's interesting. People are like, "Yeah, you remind us of nostalgia. You give me a nostalgic feeling and that kind of thing." It's like it's cool. Yeah.
Hmm. How many videos do you have on TikTok?
I don't know. I don't know.
Okay.
Probably
If
like
I find
500.
you, it'll show how many videos you have, though.
Yeah, I don't know if it'll say the number, but it'll probably show, I don't know, 80 or 100 videos or something like that.
And are you
I
on
don't. It's not as much as a
are
lot of
you on
people.
YouTube and Instagram and Facebook as well?
Yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Um, who are I only have a couple more questions for you. Who's in your road band?
Oh, um, well, the pianist that I work with now, his name is Luther Allison. He's
Cooper
from North
Allison?
Carolina. Luther, yeah, Luther Allison. And I've been working with him for a couple months now. He's from North Carolina and 27 years old. And I mean, he's wonderful. I love what I love about the band is not only is everybody, young, um, but they memorize all the music and they're creative, and they're so open and they love jazz. They love the music. Um, but in turn they have their own individual voice to contribute to the sound of the band. The bass player that I work with now, his name is Mikey Migliori. I actually went to purchase with him. We didn't play much together while we were there, but now we play together. He's upright. And the drummer that I work with is Evan Sherman. He's an arranger and as well as a big band leader, and has played with Roy Hargrove and Slide Hampton and Ron Carter and everything.
Wow. What's the bass player's name again?
Mikey Migliori.
Migliori. Is he the
Migliori,
son of the Jay
the alto
Migliori?
saxophonist. Yeah.
He is?
What's his name? The alto saxophonist?
I think so.
I think he played alto saxophone. But yeah, that was his
Oh,
dad.
wow. That's very cool. So you're in Tokyo. What club are you playing at?
We actually just did a special showcase for this tour. The band went back this morning, or it's probably on the flight right now. Um, but it's more this trip is more so of a press kind of thing. I'm going to the Universal Music's offices here in Tokyo, and doing interviews and stuff like that. So, but we played at a club. It's called Blue Note Place, which is different than Blue Note Tokyo. It was a little bit of a smaller, more intimate kind of thing, and only press and record executives and people like that were there. So, yeah, we played yesterday. Yesterday.
Finally, when you're at home, since we're a gear magazine, what do you listen to music on?
Mostly Apple Music now, if that's what you mean. Oh, gear. You mean gear. Oh gosh. I don't have any gear.
How do you
I
get
wish I did.
speakers? Sonos?
Do I have speakers? I have one JBL Bluetooth speaker, but I don't have any gear. Actually, no, I have a record player, but I haven't been able to get it to work. I bought it on eBay, but I haven't been able to get it to work.
What
So I
kind
don't.
of turntable is it?
It's Sony.
And
Thank you. I
And thank
definitely
you so
will
much for speaking with
take
me.
it
You're a
back.
delight. Your images don't do justice to you. You're a very beautiful young woman. I wish you all the best. And I'm looking forward to your next record.
Thank you so much. Thank you for your time.
My pleasure.
Also,
Yeah,
I think it's a vintage Sony PS LX2 automatic stereo turntable.
it definitely needs I mean, you can buy turntables today with a phono stage built in, but an old
Hmm.
turntable like that, you've got to get what they call a phono stage or a phono preamp. So I would
A
definitely
phono.
recommend because it's cheap. The Shit Manny, SCHITTMANI.
Thank you
Okay,
so much. I see it now. I see it now.
you see it?
I'll give it a try.
Good
Thank
luck
you
with your
so much.
interviews and safe journey back home.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
See you around.